Andrew Lopez, Chris Dabe here for NOLA.com, Times-Picayune, coming to you live outside of Tiger Stadium, actually, which I think a lot of fans hope to be, cheering there in about 6 weeks or so. Ed Orgeron just addressed the media for the first time heading into fall camp. I feel like we've been talking to him all summer through tour stops and things like that, so not too much, but we did find out that Arden Key showed up, and he's excited. He talked about Arden Key's almost supernatural healing abilities, it seems like.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he said he heals fast. I think last week he said that he expected Arden Key to not practice for at least the first 2 weeks of camp after the shoulder procedure that he had back in May or June.
Yeah.
And but yeah, referencing him as a fast healer. I know he walked in today at the West Campus dorms and looked much bigger than he did the last time anybody saw him on the field. Last year he played at 238. He was listed, and Ed Orgeron just estimated him to be around 260, but watch him at 255 for a playing weight. So he could be looking at about 20 extra pounds, probably pretty lean.
6'6", 238 Arden Key was already really scary. 6'6", 255 Arden Key sounds a lot scarier.
Yeah, I sure wouldn't want to be on the other side of anything that he does on the football field.
Somebody that won't be on the other side of that is Seth Stewart, a offensive lineman, freshman who signed with this class. He came to LSU for a couple of days. Now it seems like won't be playing football at all, according to what Coach O said earlier today. Stewart was 6'7", he was a big kid, 6'7", 320, 330 in that area. Was a guy who was originally committed to Marshall, flipped to LSU last summer. Now looks like he won't be playing football. That kind of leaves a little bit of a hole in that offensive line depth, though.
Yeah, that's something that Ed Orgeron talked about as well, is a little bit of the offensive line depth there being a concern. He feels good though about the starting lineup that he has placed out there right now, though.
Austin Deculus, he expects big things from him now. He's probably going to be the primary backup going into, I think, camp at both tackle spots. He's going to have Adrian McGee, who was arrested earlier this year. Doesn't know what his status is going to be moving forward. He will be in camp though right now. One guy he's also excited to look at on the offensive side of the ball is Miles Brennan, who when he was playing in high school ball was around 175. Now he's closer to about 195, 198. This is a guy who, they're going to make drills so they get him a chance to get out there and get reps with this team, which I think it can only help this team going forward.
Yeah, in practices they're looking to have kind of 1 versus 2 offense against defense, and then 2 versus 1 offense against defense, I guess you could say, at the same time. In part to get more reps for Miles Brennan. I mean, that's one thing Ed Orgeron specified, is wants to get Miles as many reps as possible, partially to catch up to what he may have missed in the spring, because all the other quarterbacks were here in the spring, including Lowell Narcisse, an early enrollee. Miles Brennan did not enroll early. He came in the summer. So the coaches actually haven't seen him throw passes yet, although presumably he's been doing some work with receivers as well, getting the timing down. So starting tomorrow, this will be the first chance for them to really see Miles Brennan in action. And you mentioned the weight gain. He's put on some weight, got stronger, much bigger. And that's something coming in that I think the coaches wanted to see, and a lot of people want to see, is if let's say he is out there playing against SEC competition, he's going to need a little bit of that additional weight that he gained.
Defensive side of the ball, some of the guys that he talked about, he's very excited about Kerry Vincent and Jontre Kirkland. He's talked a lot about them at the cornerback spot so far. I feel like every tour stop you heard about Kerry Vincent, Jontre Kirkland. At SEC Media Days, when asked one of the top freshmen who kind of stood out to him so far, those two were mentioned quite first. Christian Fulton mentioned as a possible nickel guy. Xavier Lewis, that stuff kind of we saw from spring practices, So Chris and I will have you covered along with Ron Higgins for all of your LSU camp needs. Camp needs that we were not going to be able to see too much of.
No.
In the past, I think Les Miles has kind of cut us off after the first week or so, week and a half. I think last year we saw 3 or 4 practices before we were cut off. Ed Orgeron talked about, he talked to the media before and mentioned it, guys, I just want to talk to you guys. This is why we're going to be doing a lot of install. If anything you need, questions about injuries and things like that, he was good to go with. So for that, we're kind of not a big surprise. We kind of knew why he was shutting these things down. He didn't exactly want us in there for the install. We understand that, but August 21st, when school starts, camp will have shut down on the 19th. That's when we'll be back into practices, and we'll be back on the schedule we were in last year.
Yeah, we'll get to glean a little bit from being in practice starting, I think you said Monday, August 21st, like you said, having that start. And so that'll give us, I guess, a couple of weeks of at least some insight of seeing how things are taking, what is happening in practice. But yeah, the first 3 weeks or so we're going to be shut out, which I know brought about varying types of reactions, but yeah. I do get it. Ed Orgeron says he'll be available to tell us about depth chart things and injuries. Of course, that all depends on how forthcoming he wants to be and that kind of stuff. He's certainly not going to give away anything that he doesn't want out there.
Not that we're typically around for injuries during the sessions that we see anyway. We're through individuals and things like that. But, we'll see. We'll talk to Coach O tomorrow after the first day of practice. He's Chris. I'm Andrew. Thanks for watching.